If you've been thinking about coming to Rome in December, I'm going to tell you why you should, and that's what this video is about. Why is December such a great month to be in December? Let me explain. In December, Airbnbs and hotels are about half as expensive as any other month, okay? That's a fact. I got a great Airbnb here in a great location. It's less than $100 a night. This same Airbnb would cost me probably $200 to $400 in prime time. Airfare. If you're coming from the United States, West Coast, it's $500 to $600 round trip. If you're coming in the middle of summer, it's $1,000 to $1,500. But why is that? Because people are afraid of the weather. Let me tell you, look outside. The weather is great. This month we've only had rain one day, and it rained for like an hour, and that was yesterday. We've had cloud about 50% of the time, and we've had sunshine about 50% of the time. Yes, it does get cooler at night. The highs are from about 50 to about 65, and the lows are from about 40 to about 55. So we've had pretty mild temperatures, but most days you do have to wear a jacket. So that's not ideal, but it's not by any means a deal breaker. The opposite of that is coming in July and August. It's 100 plus degrees, it's humid, and it's sometimes AC is not super reliable depending on where you're staying. And even going out and about and on the buses, it's miserable. So I'd rather be here when it's a little bit chillier, a little bit cooler. That's from a weather standpoint. But let's talk about other things. In December, there are almost no lines at the Colosseum, at the Pantheon, there's Capodanno. Anyway, at the Pantheon, at all these sites, there's no lines. Literally, you can just pretty much walk in. If there is a line like at the Colosseum or at the Vatican, it's going to be a 5 or 10 minute line, not a 2 or 3 hour line. Restaurants. You can get into any restaurant you want at this time of year without having to wait. And what's really cool is you can kind of tell a good restaurant from a not so good restaurant just because when you're walking down the street, you'll see one restaurant that's filled with people, another one right next to it that's nobody in it. And there's probably a reason there's nobody at it. So in the summertime, you get there and they're all crowded. And so you just kind of think, okay, I wanted to go to this restaurant, but it's so crowded, it has an hour wait. Let's just go next door and eat. And so this time of year, you can actually get the one you wanted to, and then when you do get there, you don't have to wait, and then you can also tell which ones are popular and which ones aren't. So I would say that's another great thing about being here in December. To top it all off, in December, you get Christmas. And even if you're not here for Christmas, you can enjoy the Christmas spirit. You get to see the decorations. You get to go to the Christmas markets. And it's kind of like when I remember in the 90s, I lived in Southern California. And we used to go to Disneyland right after Thanksgiving, but before the Christmas, kids get out for Christmas, maybe about the 15th or so of December. And during that window, you could go to Disneyland and experience the whole, all the lights and the fun and no crowds. And I don't know if it's still that way for Disneyland, but that's how it is for Rome. You come to Rome, the crowds are almost gone. Those that are here are again, European tourists and Italian tourists. Let me explain one thing about the Italians and December. They are overworked sometimes in the other months. There's so many tourists. Italy, let's face it, it is over-touristed. There is no time for a lot of these people to even really do much other than they're just hustling through people. There's so many people here. But in December, they are much more relaxed and they're much friendlier than they otherwise are. It's not because the Italians aren't friendly, it's because sometimes they can be very busy and they're just trying to get through to the next person in restaurants, whether it be in restaurants or in shopping or wherever. You can get a lot more attention when you're here in December than you otherwise would. So come in December, people are friendlier. You got great Christmas spirit and Christmas decorations and all that stuff. You get no lines. So December really is one of my favorite months to be here in Rome. And this is my 3rd December that I've been here in Rome. And it is wonderful. So if you have the means to travel in December, I know it's not always easy, but if you can make that sacrifice and get here in December, I think you'll be really happy that you did. Merry Christmas to everybody. Why don't you give me a Christmas present and at least like my video or subscribe? And now, even if you just subscribe for a day, I understand, it's like when you buy presents and then you take them back the next day after you Christmas returns. Well, you can return. You don't have to subscribe in January. You can return that gift. But for today, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Have a good Christmas. Bye.
Are you ready? Let's go! Come on! Forza ragazzi! La magia di Piazza Navona! La corsa cavallini! Scatenatevi! Fatevi valere! Numero 7, Soldatino! You win! Number 7! Accendiamo le luci! Ai passi, via! Vai! Vai! Di più! Di più! Numero 6 King! Comanda la gara! Ancora il cavallino al galoppo! Esagera! Numero 8 Nestore! Le buche finali! Soldatino! Nestore! Ah! Il vincitore ufficiale è il numero 8! Nestore! Magnifico! Allora Nestore, ti puoi prendere questo qui o questo qui? Quale vuoi? Scuro o chiaro? Scuro, vai! Eccolo! Primo premio! Grazie, ciao ragazzi!
Babbo Natale, chissà, è la letterina, zia!
del latte pulite, così con un colpo.
Oh, you got two.
Too hard?
No, you're good.